so many challenges, from fundraising to team building to making the product, scaling, growth. So every challenge has its own solutions.
In part one of my conversation with Elnaz Sarraf, the founder and CEO of ROYBI, she discussed her product, what she calls the Smart Educational Learning Robot Toy for Kids, and its unique interactive functionality. In the second part of our conversation, she goes deeper into some of the challenges she's faced crowdsourcing a new company, getting that product ready for launch, and ensuring the deliverables are as promised. And she also discusses what it was about her own upbringing that inspired her to become an entrepreneur. Elnaz, I'm excited to continue the conversation, but now really to dig into you as a leader, to have grown not only one company, but multiple companies. What has this journey been like? Where did you begin? Like your journey, where did it start? And how did it get to building multiple companies and to where you are today?
That's an interesting question. I think in order to become an entrepreneur, you need to have a very special personality. I'm not saying that because, I'm an entrepreneur. It's because, it's very challenging. When you look at companies, from outside, everything looks amazing. Everybody gets excited. But from inside, you can't really see what's going on. There's a lot of challenges, but I think personally, I always like challenges. The more challenging something is, the more exciting it gets for me to resolve that. And even launching a complex product like ROYBI, it has been really, really challenging. When we started 3 years ago, actually we had many cases that people did not even believe we are capable of launching this product. And sometimes I got a lot of feedbacks that, oh, this is not doable, or why do we even need this? So you need to have the personality to accept these sort of feedback and get things better and better. For me, I moved to the US about 15 years ago, and I remember when even I was a teenager, I always wanted to start my own business. Maybe because I grew up in a family that we had businesses. I saw that. And also, even when I was a kid, I think the reason that I'm so passionate about education is that my family was very, very passionate about making sure that I have good grades, I study, and education was really high priority. And that's how I got started on my journey. I started some startups, failed, and finally things started working out. And even with ROYBI, after 3 years, I have to say this is still the beginning. We have so much more to do. Every day something new comes up, and gives us the opportunity to make the product and our journey better.
I hear persistence in all of this is so key as you as an entrepreneur, to not give up when one thing doesn't work and there's challenges in your way and people are saying, that's not going to work. What are you talking about? We don't even need that. But yet persistence, you kept pushing forward. What would you say then over the last, whether it's your previous ventures or this one, a tactical challenge that you were able to overcome, and what was that way? What was the solution that you used to overcome it?
I think there are so many challenges, from fundraising to team building to making the product, scaling, growth. So every challenge has its own solutions. But to start, for fundraising part, it took a long time, lots of no's and rejections. And I have to really mention that, a lot of people, when they see the news that the company raised a lot of funding, they think, it came easy. But it's not. And as an entrepreneur, you will have those times to say, oh my God, what am I doing? Why did I start this? It is okay. Even if you have these sort of feelings, it will pass, because ultimately you look at the progress, the product and everything, and ultimately you will say this is the right thing. But also, when it comes to team building, I think that's the most important part of every business. So you need to really make sure that you start working with the right people, and that's difficult. It is very hard to find the right partners, but gradually you will have good understanding. Make sure you have right even agreements in place, because I've seen a lot of startups fail because of some conflicts between co-founders, team members. They didn't have the right agreements. Maybe you have to spend some money up front for legal matters to make sure you protect the company. It's not about trust, by the way. It's really about making the business in the right way, because that's also very important to the investors. So that's how you can get over some challenges that you may face in the future. Then of course you raise the fund, the team is there, it's building the product. It's going to be a lot of interesting challenges that come up, a lot of testing. Listen to people after you launch. Definitely listen to your customers, because it's very, very important. And of course then it comes to the growth challenges.
Which is a whole nother boatload. How did you know when it was time to, all right, it's time to launch? Like, we spent enough time and energy and our MVP, we've got it. Like, what was the sign, the catalyst that made that first launch?
It is interesting because the reason I laugh is I don't think there is any right time. Because I think even for us, we changed our launch date so many times, I can't even remember. But I think it's just the business readiness. To give you an example, for us, we started the launch of ROYBI by launching our crowdfunding campaign. And initially we thought we should only spend like 2 months gathering subscribers, making sure we are ready. It's it's going to be like boom and easy. No, it wasn't like that. It took us 5 months. And I still remember that the time that we wanted to launch, we still had to push it to additional like 2 days, because we thought we can make some things better. And I'd say just make sure your business strategy is there, your advertising strategy is there. It really depends on the company, but also making sure that if you launch and promise to deliver the product, whatever that is, it's hardware or software, actually you can do it. And if you deliver, make sure it is the same as what you promised, because even for us, we faced some issues because we weren't able to finish everything by the time we delivered the product. That caused some problems, but we learned our lessons.
The tactic of starting with a crowdfunding as your way to launch at the beginning, would you recommend that to others?
I do, because it's a really good learning process. For example, for our product, it's a complicated new concept. It can be used for many reasons: language learning, speech delay, autism. We had customers that bought ROYBI for many reasons. And for the duration of 2 months that we had our live campaign, we reached out to all these customers. We understood what they want, most of it, not all of it, but also to understand which regions we have to focus more, which features we could actually try to develop further. And it is also a really good idea to gather these early users, because they will really help you to shape the future of your product. But I just want to make sure to say that it's a lot of work. It's not easy. So don't think if you launch it, people are going to come and buy it. It's not like that.
I really appreciate that concept of and affirmation that it's not easy. Don't assume that it'll just
Not.
make it happen. And you're still in the journey. So if anything, I look forward to maybe checking back with you next
Thank
year
you.
when as you work on the scaling growth. Speaking of then of how do you keep growing and you personally as a leader, what kind of books or audiobooks or podcasts or where have you looked for to find inspiration and innovation and ideas to keep you moving forward as a business leader?
Sure. I used to have a little bit more time, so I would read books, and of course, just get them from Amazon. Just looking at the reviews, more about business, even self development, and even some books that would help me to understand people better, with people management, because I always say, people management is the most difficult part of the business. But these days, because I don't have enough time, I try to go over quick like YouTube videos, and just read the news, or just watch some clips that are about some business success stories, and just see what's going on in the world.
Do you have any favorite channels that you're subscribing to or following, or also books in the past that you have read that you would recommend?
Well, I watch TechCrunch, Mashable, TED Talks a lot, especially TED Talk, because they're very inspirational, and it's really good to see, what people are working on, especially the segments that about spreading new ideas. I really like that. For books, I can't remember the last one that I read, but it was more about, again, like building business, and even some financial aspects of the business.
Now, I'm going to end with this last question. As a technology leader, as yourself, and you are a visionary, you see what's coming up. What kind of tech innovation do you predict overall, in any category, that we will see in the near term and long term? So in the next year and in the next 10 years?
Sure. I think when it comes to both AI and robotics, we are going to see lots and lots of innovation, especially after this pandemic. I believe a lot of new ideas are going to, to come up with, for example, with the social distancing aspect. How do we resolve that? How do we make things more hybrid? Even, for example, let's say if we go to work, how the future of work is going to look like. More distance, I'm not sure, but maybe even in like classrooms, let's say, maybe we have to even see the temperature of the kids, or even adults, because I do actually see these things happening in China. And I see a lot of technologies with AI or even robots are going to come up to do a lot of things in healthcare, delivery, food, and education for sure.
Have you seen a company using AI, machine learning, or other technology to transform the way we live, work, and do business? Go to uptechreport.com and let us know.